Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Today I want to talk to you on the subject matter, this hellhole known as the USA. Usually when I present posts and I speak negative of the USA and indicate it in my subject, I get more clicks, more people are interested in what I can say negative about America than what I can say good. More people are interested in what I can say negative about the world than I can say about heaven. America has presented herself and to the world as being one of the most religious and wisest nations on the face of the earth. They are not saying that they're only religious because they know the Muslim nations are as committed. But the Muslim nations do things that the Christian nations do not do, supposedly, and that's murder and kill, supposedly. And that puts them on a higher standard, on a higher banner for exploitation. However, if the facts were checked, you'd find out that it's about the same as far as the killing and murders goes. But what I really want to talk to you about, ladies and gentlemen, is the government and you, the people, that are being represented by that government or not being represented. In 1988, I was 38 years old. There was a presidential election taking place around that time. It included Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and Michael Dukakis. I don't recall who that Republican was at that time. It could have been one of those Bushes. Probably was. First one. I entered that race. I did not enter in as a Democrat or a Republican, but more or less a dependent, an independent. Definitely dependent, but as an independent. My concern was that in my lifetime I had seen people on both sides of the spectrum of politics, each speaking out about the same things, each addressing an approach that is better than that of the other. And here and there, the people speak about what they support, and they support in time both sides. And it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the same things that they were talking about generations ago are still evident. Even when they try to move forward, they are moving no place. For instance, affirmative action. Take from those that's doing well and give to those that's suffering, thereby creating a suffering cancer over where it was doing well rather than fixing the problem. And so my candidacy was to represent fixing the problem. What I advocated, ladies and gentlemen, was that no American would ever have to suffer for any food or clothing or shelter. These things would be guaranteed to every American. I advocated that. Everybody wants that, needs that, desires that. I advocated that there would be unlimited and unrestricted health care for everybody. Everybody, guaranteed. Everybody educated. Everybody. I advocated, my friends, health care from the womb to the tomb for everybody. Now, every last human being on the face of the earth appreciates just what I articulated. I advocated it, but it's me and what I just said. What gives it power? What gives it the ability to stand up and become aware? It's the people. It's the people. I didn't get any support, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I had to run as a write-in. And even as a write-in, I only got very little support. Only those people who papers probably thought it was just something to amuse their readers would publish it. The word went out. I did everything I possibly could, my friends, to tell you about this great thing. And I know you wonder how you're going to do that. How you're going to do that? I say plainly, well, everybody that benefits from it, everybody that benefits from it play a part in the process of causing it to manifest, causing it to be real, causing an abundance such that no one would ever have to suffer. The resources have been given by the same power that created the earth, the same power that created the heaven, the skies, and the moon, and the sun, and you and I. That same power has prepared that all of this, all of our needs, all of our wants, and all of our desires shall be met because we engaged ourselves in the process of living like we wanted to live in heaven. In other words, we use the gifts that we have been given. That gives us our greatest joy. And it's been set together in such a way by that divine power that it creates. You don't even know it perhaps, but when you see it, it's the evidence that there's a power somewhere that's living in you now, guiding your path. Well, I didn't get any support there, but the message was to me to be able to stand before you today and tell you that it was an indication that you do not know God. Yes, you go to church, you pay your tithes, you do anything. You pay $1,000 seeds to plant. Even I believe one time the Catholics used to pay just so they could get closer or some of their relatives out of heaven. People come with all kinds of things. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't stop there. You know I didn't win. You know I got no support. But my wife will tell you, and the records will indicate, that at several other presidential, I believe it was after George Bush was Bill Clinton. I didn't mind going against Bill Clinton. He was a smooth talker, but he didn't talk the talk I talk. But he had more power. He had more power believing and saying they support what he offered than what I had shared with him. In fact, most people never heard anything about this. Hey, I ran even against Barack Obama. Barack Obama was smooth and all that kind of stuff, a black man, educated man. But did he talk about what I just shared about you, the people? Of course not. And if he did, you know it was just talk. But for some strange reason, you believed and you put your faith in that. Well, after all of that time, I have also sought after the office of governor of the state of Minnesota, mayor of two major cities, St. Paul and Woodbury, United States Senator from the state of Minnesota twice. What for? To tell the world that there's a way, that there's a power, that you can have all your dreams come true. Hey, and out of all that time, I haven't asked you for your money because the message, if you were real, if you knew God, the message is so fantastic. If you heard it, it would be all over the nation. You know, it was fast when Donald Trump came out telling all those lies and spreading out all that evil and ugliness. It went all across the globe. People couldn't get enough of it. They just fed it to the world over and over and over again. For 4 years, you were fed these stepping stones of ugliness. You've been fed it. You've been fed it. Then you were tested on January the 6th. And now you're being tested even more because they're changing the laws to say that it's okay to be evil. It's okay to be evil and show it. It's okay to not to be ashamed of ugliness. It's good to be a demonic force. That's what they're advocating. And all of this, ladies and gentlemen, in opposition to what I just shared with you, which offers peace, which offers prosperity for all, which offers freedom for every last one of you, the joy of your living and your dreams coming true, your needs, your wants, and your desires right there at your fingertips, at your pleasure. That's the gift from the God that I'm telling you about. You say, well, you don't hear about that God. I know you don't hear about that God. Most people don't know a thing about that God. Oh, yes, they know Scripture. The devil knows Scripture. But how many people know God? How many people have stood up and said that what I'm telling you about God is so true, ladies and gentlemen, that I will commit a crime, not hiding it. I will publicly commit a crime. Go to jail, go to prison, just to be able to let you know that I'm confident that what I'm telling you is absolutely true. And even if you can't support this, I'll suffer to let you know that it's worth suffering for your benefit, to know that God is real. Hey, yet I have to sit here today and see where you are dealing with the exploits of Donald Trump and all of the stuff that he represents. He represents all of that stuff all the way back throughout time. All the way back throughout time. That's why these states are trying to go backwards. They're not trying to go forward. They're trying to go backwards, because he represents all that backwardness. He represents all of that where you thought you had some growth. Well, you see, you really hadn't. You had just been forcing people to do stuff. And see, my power comes from a power that says, not forcing you. You shall reap what you sow. You say you want peace, but you build guns. You don't stand up and try to make sure that those things that create animosity and hate, that's eradicated. No, you'll let that go, because perhaps you're benefiting from it. Well, I didn't mean to talk to you this long, but the truth of the matter is that I can and should go on. But the fact of the matter is also that you'll probably turn me off. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think that you might have a picture of what I'm trying to say to you. And if you didn't, let me summarize it if I can in the next minute. America wanted to be high on the hill, wanted the world to be able to look at her. And the world is looking at America. And out of all of the ugliness that has been exposed to Americans, rather than try to go forward, they are trying to go backwards. And those who don't want to go backwards are trying to stand still, hoping that they can defeat going backwards rather than going forward. Here again, this is an indication that you don't know God. The truth of the matter is you don't trust God. If you knew God, you trust God. If you knew God, you'd have faith in God. If you knew God, you'd do what's right, come heaven, come hell, if you knew God. But you don't. So I'd just like to let America know that from what God has given me, the experience that God has given me, the things that God has taught me, so that I'll debate anybody in this world about what I'm saying, has given me to tell you. Here in America, the rest of the world already knows. What do you Americans think about the rest of the world? It's a hellhole, huh? Of course. But today, the message is also this hellhole called the USA. And it is that, ladies and gentlemen, but you can fix it. You can fix it. But it's not going to be up to the politicians. It's going to be up to you. And if those of you, well, it's going to be up to you. Thank you so very much. Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.